What's going on, YouTube? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Omise Go, which is up over 30% today. It's doing awesome. Digibyte and Link. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. We're going to get into these five today. And what I wanted to start out with was Bitcoin. And what I wanted to do is look at the short-term downtrend that we've been in. So overall, in the intermediate term, we've been in an uptrend. But now what we've been dealing with is a short-term downtrend. And what we were paying attention to is after we had this climax dump, if we could hold this second trend line of mine in yellow here. And so far we have. We had a bullish engulfing candle, and what we were trying to do is set this higher low. So essentially, guys, we don't want to drop below about $10,192. This is the higher low that we want to hold. And now what we're looking to do is see if we can get up through the next resistance level we're going to be looking at is at 11,084. So we're currently for Bitcoin sitting at $10,880. We're going to try to get up through that 11,084 and see what happens there. And that would be important for us because we got our higher low from the area that we had this cluster of wicks right around that $96 to $10,000 region. And what's been important since then, we pushed up. And then we came back down, we set our higher low. Now what we're trying to do is get a higher high than the area of that $11,084. That's what's going to be important for us to get up through that. If we're able to get up through that, the next area I'm going to look at is 11,478. The thing that's making me a little bit nervous still, and I've been harping on this for quite a while now, is the fact we don't have a ton of volume coming in with this move. So we set our higher low with a bullish engulfing. That was great, but it still didn't come on a ton of volume. You can see the bullish engulfing was on about average volume, and now our volume, if I zoom in here, you can see this empty gap as we're pushing up. And what we need is buying pressure, and that could step in at any moment, guys. This is a whale driven market. You can see when we do get those pushes, typically the price can range roughly about $1,500 when it comes in, and it definitely could come in an area like this. So we just have to be aware of that. Now, if we don't get this continuation to the upside, I would want to see us defend this 200 moving average overall. It's important for long-term investors when they're buying cryptocurrency for us to be up above that 200 moving average. If we're below it, it's going to long-term show that we're most likely in that downtrend, and it could act as strong overhead resistance for us. So we definitely need to be aware of that 200 moving average. If somehow we do get a strong push to the downside, that's going to be the support area I'd look at, and that's at $9,857. If we get into trading view and we look at the technicals on the 1 day time frame, we have a 2 sell 10 neutral 16 buy oscillators, 1 sell 9 neutral, and a 1 buy is what we're looking at there. And then if we throw in just a couple indicators that I like to pay attention to, first we're going to look at our relative strength index. Relative strength, we're at 52 right now, starting to get a little curve up, and we are getting higher lows, so that's important for us to do. Now we're just going to have to get over 54 resistance on the RSI. I like to draw support and resistance lines on that as well. That can always help you. Then we'll take a look at our momentum. Momentum, we're at minus 62, but we're fighting to get back up into that positive here, and we're starting to get a little bit of a curl there. So that's a nice thing. Like we said, we just want to get that continued volume to come in with it. And then our MACD, we have had a bullish MACD crossed histogram ticking to the positive. So let's be aware of that as well. If you guys get something from that, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're going to move on to Ethereum next. Take a look at ETH, which is also the driver of many altcoins, so we always need to pay attention to Ethereum. For Ethereum, volume's been a little bit lower. I don't like that. We did have our bullish engulfing candle, which was good. This still would have been a higher low than the low that we had of around $311. So now what we need to do is get up above $378, and then it's going to be right up around that $391. It's going to be overhead resistance that we will have to break up through, and that's also going to correlate with our 20 EMA and our 50 EMA as well. Closing up above those moving averages, we're still holding the 100 moving average in pink, and we're holding the 200 in white. So that is a positive thing for us, but we need to start getting over top of some of these higher levels at $400 and start making some higher highs in the macro sense here. If we get into our technicals for Ethereum, we have a 4 sell 9 neutral 15 buy oscillators, 1 sell 8 neutral 2 buy. And remember, with all this, guys, this is calculating all our moving averages from our 5 to our 200, and then all these oscillators as well. And it's just going to show you, is it neutral, is it a buy, is it a sell? Then it calculates it all out for us here. So I always like to look at that as well as my technical analysis when we're going through this. But overall, Ethereum just needs to get going, and we need to hold roughly about $319. I wouldn't want to drop much below that. So that's going to be Ethereum. Next, we're going to go into OMG. This has been the killer for the day, doing awesome. We're at $394. Guys, one moment. I have someone pulling in my driveway here, and a phone call at the same time. Okay, never mind. Okay, guys, so I apologize about that. So for Omise Go right now, what we're going to try to do is hold this support area that we had at $3. That was the line we were looking to get a bounce off of, and we have with a really strong candle today. We want to see where the volume finishes. Right now, we have average volume. Want to see where it ends up at the end of the day. It's going to be important to get that nice push, but if we can close even where we're at right now, it would be up above our 20, our 50, our 100, and our 200 EMA, which would be a nice thing for us here. Next overhead resistance area, we're going to look at $421 is going to be the spot for overhead resistance. If we're taking a look in here at our relative strength index, we're at 56, plenty of room to run to the upside if we do end up pushing through that 421. Next area would be up here around 557. And this is one, like I've talked about with many people, guys, this was just a good longer term hold, one that you'd like to pay attention to, because when it does run, it runs really hard, fast, and aggressively, and it's something that I like to play as well. And then we'll take a look at our MACD. If we get our MACD, look at our MACD here, we are getting a bullish cross to the upside, which is nice. We have not had that since the beginning of August, so that's important for us to pay attention to as well. So that's going to be Omise Go, guys. Pay attention to those areas. Support $3, overhead resistance at 421. See if we can end up pushing up to around that 556 if we keep this moving to the upside and we continue to get that swell of volume. Pay attention to that, okay? So that's Omise Go, guys. Don't forget to give a thumbs up if you like me covering that. Next, we're going to get into DigiByte. Going to keep DigiByte in there. You guys are always doing awesome for me, leaving comments and thumbs up and everything, so I want to throw that in there for us. So DigiByte, we're kind of getting into almost an equilibrium pattern now. So here's our high at the tweezer tops. Here's our lower high, right? But we're having higher lows. So we're almost having that squeezing effect. What we need to do is get up above 0.02605 is going to be overhead resistance. In terms of support, we'd want to hold 0.02315. So I'd put alerts in both of those areas. If we push to the upside, target's going to be around that 0.02978. To the downside, we need to hold that 200 moving average at 0.02026. RSI is at 48, running neutral. Excuse me, guys. Running a little bit more neutral there. And then our MACD, our histogram is moving to the downside. So we want to keep an eye on that, but we are getting into this equilibrium pattern here. We need some buying volume to come in for DigiByte. If we take a look at the technicals, 12 sell, 9 neutral, 7 buy. Oscillators, 2 sell, 8 neutral, and 1 buy. So it's a little bit behind some of the other coins right now. So just wanted to throw that out there, guys, but getting into one of those equilibrium patterns. That's going to be DigiByte. Next, we're going to look at Link. Link's one I was averaging into, guys, at $8.60. Remember, we're talking about buying the fear down in here and just slowly averaging. What I'm looking at is to see if we can get another nice pop to the upside here, because we had a nice, strong, bullish engulfing candle, came on heavy volume, and now what we've really been doing is just moving sideways, but we haven't had massive selling pressure. And sometimes what that can show is that we may get another leg to the upside. Doesn't have to happen, but that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. I have a break-even stop on, and I want to see if we can get that next kick to the upside. If we do, I'm going to target up around $12.83 would be the first take profit area, and then it'd be up around $13.92 is going to be the spot. We want to continue to hold support of $8.92 in this 200 moving average at $8.07. And what we're trying to do is break this downtrend that we've been in with lower highs and lower lows. It's important that we get out of that and start getting some higher highs in there. RSI is at 47, running a little more neutral, so we do have, you know, a lot of room in either direction. So I feel like the next move that Link's going to have is probably going to be a strong directional move. So let's be aware of that. MACD, we have got a cross, but it hasn't came on a significant amount of volume. When we got that cross, histogram starting to tick to the upside there. If we look at our technicals, 8 sell, 10 neutral, 10 buy. Oscillators, 1 sell, 9 neutral, and a 1 buy is what we're looking at there. But just really keep an eye on these things, guys. Let's see if Link can get that next pop to the upside, hold this 100 moving average, hold the 200, and get up above this 50 and this, or I'm sorry, this 20 EMA and this 50 EMA as well. All right, guys, you get some from this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. God bless each and every one of you. Keep an eye on these levels. Take care, my friends.